Things suck. This sucks. It all sucks. But what are you going to do about it as an expat? Let's be honest with ourselves. Everybody is feeling a little bit down with this COVID situation. Not only as an expat do we have to worry about job security, a lot of us don't have the safety nets that you've got back home. We are out there on our own, and then we've also got to worry about our home country as well. Can we get back home? Can't we? What's happening with our families? So this has really hit expats really hard, and everyone seems to be concerned about three major things. The first one is the stock market and how that affects them and their retirement or the economy in general. The second one is job security. A lot of people are taking an early retirement or looking at an early retirement. And number three is the big one. What happens if I die? All we've seen in the news lately is death and doom and gloom, and that's been playing on people's minds, and some people, or a lot more people at the moment, are getting proactive and getting an estate plan in place. So in today's video, we're going to stop having a whinge and a sook, and we're going to get a plan in place. So let's get started. Number one, the stock market. Last week, we saw the consumer confidence index data come in. It's the lowest consumer confidence we've seen since 2008. Just look at the stock market. Everything is an all-time high. You know, we've got record profits, price to earnings are through the roof. The Dow, the S&P, everything is up. And at the same time, we've seen so many of our friends and family going out of business. How can that be? Surely this can't carry on. We've got inflation. We've got all the Fed dumping money into the markets. The stock market is going to crash. Well, what I say to you is, if that's what you think, start acting like it. Let's get a plan in place. So take the last crash, which I'm sure you all remember, was February and March last year, which was the COVID crash. Now, that happened from a top of the market on the 10th of February to the bottom on about the 16th of March. So let's call that 5 weeks. So remember, you're an expat and you think the market's going to crash. What are you going to do about it? Where's your cash right now? How are you going to capitalize on that market crash that you think is going to happen? Nobody's got a crystal ball. You didn't realize the market was crashing last time it was crashing. From the very top to the first plateau, which only lasted a couple of days, it was 2 weeks. So in that first 2 weeks, everyone is going, oh shit, markets are crashing, let's run around. So that would have been you, it would have been all of us. If you're that good an investor, you're not sitting on YouTube watching this video right now. So 2 weeks of the 5 weeks are wiped out. You've got 3 weeks. Unless you are going to be 100% doing this yourself, you're going to need to be reaching out to someone else. You're going to need to be talking to your planner or your broker or whoever it is that gets your money into the markets. So let's say that you book a call with them. It takes 3 days to get a call in. You finally get in front of your broker or your planner. You come up with a plan. And if it requires opening a new account, well, geez, you're going to be talking about application processes, getting the proof of identity, proof of address, all that sort of stuff. That's probably going to take you 3 weeks at a good run. So the crash has already come and gone. So what I want you to do is start planning today. When things are fearful, you should be feeling greedy. And when everyone else is feeling greedy, you should be feeling fearful. So let's plan around that. So what I want you to do right now is, if you need to reach out to somebody else to get your money working and into the markets, do it today, because you think the markets are going to crash. So let's act like it. Let's get a plan and stop whinging. Number 2 is job security. Everybody's feeling the pinch right now. A lot of expat positions are being closed off, and we don't have that safety net of a lot of the pensions and structures that people have back home. So if you are going to be taking an early retirement due to COVID, start planning for it now. There's a whole heap of maths that need to be involved in planning for retirement. How much money are you going to be able to spend every year? How much return on your money or your pension pot are you going to need to maintain the lifestyle you're going to have? What's your pension drawdown calculations? What's your investment strategy? You're going to need cash in the bank. You're going to need bonds and gold. You're going to need some fixed income, whether it's a property or a note or whatever you're using. You're going to need some blue chip companies, and you're also going to want some growth investments. You're going to need to get that in place. You should be planning for that right now. And once again, unless you're doing this all yourself, reach out to someone who can help you with this, because you need to start planning. The third one is the big one. What if I die? That's been something which is on everyone's minds more and more, and no wonder. All we see whenever we turn on the news is death statistics. So of course people are going to be thinking about this. And it's one of those things where we are all gonna die. Let's act like it. So what I want you to do is reach out to an estate planner. Get your things in place. Who is going to be the executor of your will? Who's your power of attorney? What countries do you have assets in? Where are you going to need wills? Is it time for some trust planning? Is it going to be a beneficiary trust? Is it going to be a capital redemption trust? What I mean by that is, do you want your wife to have, or your husband to have, a big pile of cash sitting on the table? Or would you rather they got paid out, $100,000 a year or whatever it is from your estate, so that way it gets directly allocated to the kids for education and living expenses? There are a whole heap of things you need to take into consideration here. So reach out and get a plan in place, guys. That's what today's message is. Now, if you've watched this far, you obviously like this video. Now, what I'm going to do is put a link in the description to talk to me. I'll have a chat to you about how to come from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow with a plan to make sure that you're capitalizing on everything sucking. If people are going to be fearful, time for you to be greedy, guys. Let's get a plan in place so that you can have the best possible retirement possible.